At first light, the day begins with a familiar challenge: time, finding enough food to survive. Every movement is measured. A missed opportunity can mean another long search. The first attempt fails. Out here, persistence matters more than perfection. Rather than waste energy in one place, it moves on, searching the territory piece by piece. Persistence finally brings a reward. Small perhaps, but enough to keep the search worthwhile. This familiar route links the richest feeding grounds across its territory. But feeding is only part of the story. The breeding season is beginning to change the rhythm of its days. Another bird has entered the territory Kendi, and for the moment, neither is willing to rush the encounter. Courtship begins cautiously, through signals refined by countless generations. Together, they begin the next task, Ugnan, finding a place where a new generation might safely begin. Before a family can begin, there is one decision that cannot be rushed: men, where to build a home. A promising site must offer more than shelter. It must support the weeks of work that lie ahead. Not every possibility will do. Each site is tested, compared, and sometimes abandoned. Again and again they return to one place. Gradually, uncertainty gives way to commitment. The choice is made. From this small patch of wilderness, their breeding season will now unfold. Now the real work begins. One small adjustment, one carefully placed piece at a time. Building is a lesson in persistence. Even the simplest material may take effort to collect. Each journey adds only a little, but repeated hundreds of times, those journeys will create a nursery. There is no blueprint here, only instinct, experience, and endless small corrections. Piece by piece, the structure takes shape. But there is still a long way to go before it is ready. With every journey, the nest grows stronger, shaped not in minutes, but through countless careful adjustments. Not everything will serve. The right material must be found, tested, and carried back. The journey is short, but repeated again and again, it demands both energy and precision. Instinct guides the design, but each piece still has to fit the realities of this particular place. At last, the structure is nearly ready, a small refuge built entirely through repetition and persistence. With the building complete, the pace changes. For a while, patience becomes the most important task. Then comes the investment on which everything now depends, the searle, the first fragile beginning of a new generation. From now on, warmth and vigilance must be maintained hour after hour, day after day. Even during these quiet hours, small adjustments help maintain the conditions developing life requires. For the adults, the routine becomes relentless: guard, forage, return, and begin again.
Even incubation cannot continue without interruption. The adult must still find enough food to sustain itself.
Time away from the nest is valuable. Every minute spent searching must be balanced against the needs of the developing eggs. A small meal is enough. Instinct now draws the adult back toward the nest. The return is immediate. Beneath the adult's body, development continues unseen. Days pass with little outward change, but inside each viable egg, a complex transformation is underway. As incubation nears its end, vigilance remains constant. For now, the nest is quiet. Then, after days of stillness, the first sign appears: a tiny break in the shell. Breaking free is the chick's first great effort. Progress comes slowly, one movement at a time. For the first chick, the outside world begins not with strength, but with complete dependence. For now, warmth is everything. The fragile newcomer can do little more than rest and grow. Hunger arrives quickly, but at this age, even the simple act of begging demands precious energy. The chick cannot feed itself. From now on, its survival depends on repeated journeys made by its parents. There is little time to waste. A failed attempt simply means the search must continue. This time, the attempt succeeds. A small meal, but for a growing chick, an essential one. The route back is already familiar. A journey that will be repeated countless times in the days ahead. For the chick, each delivery brings the energy needed for the next small step in its development. Fed and sheltered, the chick returns to what it does best, resting while its body grows. The first chick is no longer alone. Beside it, another life is beginning the same exhausting escape from the shell. The nest is becoming busier, but these chicks remain entirely dependent on warmth, food, and constant parental attention. For the parents, the pattern is now relentless. Search, return, feed, and leave once more. With each passing day, the chicks grow stronger, their fragile bodies beginning to take on the shape of the birds they will become. Growth brings a greater appetite, and every returning parent is greeted by an increasingly demanding brood. Not every chick is fed on every visit. Competition begins early, and persistence can make the difference. Not everything will serve. The right material must be found, tested, and carried back. The transformation is becoming visible now. Feathers replace the softness of early life, preparing the young for a world beyond the nest. Stronger legs bring a new challenge, learning to balance on a platform that suddenly seems much smaller. The wings have never carried its weight, but instinct is already teaching the muscles what they must soon do. Practice becomes more vigorous. For a moment, the young bird almost feels what its wings are capable of. Beyond the nest lies an unfamiliar world. The first step outward is cautious penguin, and there is no reason to hurry.
The nest is no longer the whole of its world. Soon, the young bird will have to leave it behind.
The first journey is hardly graceful, but for a young bird, even a few uncertain meters can change everything. For now, simply staying balanced is an achievement. Flight will improve only through practice. Each short flight is a lesson, in lift, distance, balance, and the difficult business of landing. The young bird can fly, but independence requires another skill, learning how to find food for itself. Instinct provides the pattern, but accuracy comes only with experience. The first attempts are often unsuccessful. Failure is part of the process. Each attempt refines the movements that will one day become routine. Day by day, the distance from its parents grows. Dependence is giving way to something far more important, self-reliance. From a fragile beginning inside the nest, a young bird has entered the wider world. Its story is only beginning.